everyone, my name is Jenny and I'm a community assistant over at Manzanita Hall for a freshman dorm. And one of the big things for myself being a community assistant is knowing that my residents are well aware about sexual health and most importantly HIV. And so today I'm going to be here talking to you for around 5 to 7 minutes about HIV testing and why you should get tested. I'd like to thank you for having me here today and taking some time in your day to come here and listen to me. We're going to be having like a conversation, so I'd love it if you guys have any questions, anything like that. Feel free to drop it in the chat, raise your hand, just stop me whenever you feel needed. If you need to use the bathroom, go right ahead. There are bathrooms right outside those double doors. And we're just going to get started. There's one thing I'd like to point out. I myself have never been pregnant. I have never started my own family or anything like that. And so I wanted to point that out for you guys today. But I hope that the things I have to share today will still be insightful and that you guys can still take something out of this. So thank you for listening to me again. So let's get started. I'd like to emphasize that there's no cure anywhere in the world for HIV, but it is 100% preventable. And the only way in order to be able to prevent transmission and keep your loved ones safe is to know your own status. And the only way to know your own status is to get tested. So first we're going to be talking about why is it important to get tested. Does anyone have an idea? So one of the reasons why it's really important to get tested is because you can't tell if someone walking on the street if they have HIV or not, and that's the same for everyone here. We have no idea if we have HIV or not, and the only way to know is to get tested. When you get tested, it opens the doors to getting treated, and say someone actually tests positive, if they test positive and they are aware that they are HIV positive, that would allow them to have access to getting life-saving treatments that could give them and grant them like a normal life, because technology has advanced quite a bit in the past couple decades, but the only way that they could get life-saving treatment is by getting tested. Another reason why it's really important is being able to protect loved ones. For people who are aware that they are HIV positive, it means that they are aware and they know that they could potentially pass it on to other people. And so being careful with that would help save the lives of other people. So those are some of the reasons why it's super important to get tested. So since I just talked about why it's so important to get tested, why wouldn't everyone get tested? Why don't people get tested weekly or monthly or at least once a year? It's not really common that we hear people getting tested for HIV unless something like major happens. So why is that? Does anyone have an idea why? Yeah, so a lot of some of the possible reasons that I hear floating around and the misconceptions is that it is expensive. You hear about testing, you think, oh, you have to go to a lab, do things, paperwork, you think it's expensive. But in actuality, there are actually places where testing is free. There's az.org, they can send kits to your house, and they're anonymous as well. So that's actually a big misconception that it is expensive. Other people may be afraid of the pain, but I just wanted to emphasize that it's normally just like it doesn't really hurt that much. It's just a little like finger prick on your finger. It only lasts for a second and only a small drop of blood is taken. Some people are afraid of how accurate the tests are. These tests are actually engineered so that there are less false negatives than there are false positives. So that's a really good thing, and there are also secondary tests afterwards that people can take to further confirm what their status for HIV is. Do you guys have any other maybe possible reasons why someone would not want to get tested? Yeah, so some people are afraid of actually being tested, or actually testing positive. That's what they're worried about. And while it is super scary, it's kind of like ignorance is bliss. But in this case, going out and getting tested and being aware of one's own status can help save lives, especially for you all today. Knowing the status of your knowing your HIV status could help you potentially prevent your child from getting HIV. And so while it is super scary, um, knowing your status, it gives you empowerment with the information, knowing that the next decisions you make could save your loved ones. And so those are some of the reasons that I wanted to share with you today, as to why it is important to get HIV tested. For a reminder, it's important to get HIV tested because you're able to have access to life-saving treatment if you do test positive. It also helps save the lives of your loved ones to prevent transmission, stuff like that. And we kind of talked about some of the reasons why someone would not want to get tested, and some of the misconceptions of it. And I hope that I was able to clear up some of the misconceptions for you today. If you have any questions about anything concerning this, I'll be here afterwards. Feel free to drop a question in the chat, send me an email, that's totally fine. And I just wanted to thank you for being here today and listening. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.